My name is Roman Bonilla, and I'm with Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and we're doing this project with OXA called Corporations and Cannabis Prohibition, examining sort of what are the corporate influences in the original reasons for cannabis prohibition and the way it's perpetuated today. As of October of this year, 2011, 50% of Americans now support legalizing marijuana. And as we spread education and share this material on how the actual reasons of the prohibition itself, I'm sure that number will go up to something like 99%. So basically, the original reasons for cannabis prohibition comes from the 1930s, and it's all rooted in hemp. Hemp is just like cannabis. It is actually cannabis. Does not have very high THC content, but it's used for industrial and agricultural purposes. So it's been used since at least 800,000 BC, 8,000 BC, sorry. And in the 1930s, it got a lot of attention because the decorticator was becoming more and more popular to process hemp into fiber. And a newspaper actually called it $1 billion crop, pointing out how many different things you can make with hemp. And this ranges from fabrics to plastics to dynamite to so many other things. Today, hemp is produced in over 30 countries: China, the UK, France, Canada, and Australia. So you can see it grows in all sorts of different environments. And strangely enough, in the United States, it's forbidden to grow hemp, even though it's a really sustainable and ecological resource. So let me talk about the way the corporations in the 1930s had this relation with hemp. One of the major corporations in the day was the DuPont corporation or company that was basically dominating the industry of explosives. During the Civil War, they produced more, or around half of the explosives used by the Union Army. And in 1935, they discovered nylon. They made the invention / discovery of nylon, which is a plastic that can be used for various sorts of things. And that became a problem because hemp is just as good of a resource to make plastic. In fact, it's much better and much cheaper. You don't have to make all these chemicals with it. You can make it naturally. You can grow it, and it's not a very capricious plant, so I mean, you don't have to put pesticides or herbicides or anything. So that became sort of a problem for the DuPont Corporation. So enters Andrew Mellon, who was one of the 3 richest men in America at the time, the Secretary of the Treasury Department in the United States, and also a DuPont investor and the company's banker. He also had a problem with that because he had invested money in nylon. If nylon was going to have to compete with a natural resource that anybody can make, that was going to put them out of business. So he teamed up with William Randolph Hearst, which was basically the Rupert Murdoch at the time. He owned so many different newspapers, dominated the media. He is the godfather of yellow journalism. And at the time, he had a major problem too, because he had all this money invested in timber to make the paper for his newspapers. And he was going through several troubles because after the Mexican Revolution, Pancho Villa took 800,000 acres of timberland from him. So he had this sort of anger against Mexicans, which he spread through his newspapers. And after the Great Depression, when all the jobs started disappearing, the mainstream population in the United States really did not. They weren't very fond of Mexicans. They were a very discriminated demographic in the U.S. because they were taking the jobs. So William Randolph Hearst created this campaign along with Andrew Mellon to basically create this entire, this saga of marijuana. He started printing thousands of articles in his newspapers with the help of Andrew Anslinger, who he was a nephew-in-law of Andrew Mellon, so a family relative, who Mellon had pushed to become basically the first drug czar. He was the director of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. And Anslinger really became the porte-parole of the movement of marijuana, which was a word nobody had ever heard of. At the time, you had people that were growing hemp just about everywhere. Some laws in the United States actually forced farmers to grow hemp. So Harry Anslinger starts writing all these articles inside various newspapers, such as the San Francisco Examiner and the Washington Times. I think that newspaper got discontinued. But both of those were owned by William Randolph Hearst. So he kind of put the media structure at Anslinger's will to just basically say whatever he wanted. And in these articles were horrible, horrible things being said about marijuana. One of those is one of my personal favorites. Beware, young and old, people in all walks of life. This may be handed to you by the friendly stranger. It contains the killer drug marijuana, a powerful narcotic in which there's murder, insanity, and death. Of course, most of us nowadays, we know that's not true. But these were very popular, and they were trying to spread the word that this was a very dangerous substance that should be prohibited. So kind of behind the curtains of the government at the time, the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 was being passed. And it was passed really quickly. It was passed really kind of not asking for public attention. And a whole lot of rumors were going on in Washington, D.C., saying, for example, the American Medical Association was supporting this ban because it was dangerous and the children were in danger. But Dr. Woodward of the American Medical Association actually testified at the hearing and said, nobody's been talking about this. You can ask the Department of Education, the Department of Health, nobody's talking about marijuana. We don't even know what that is. So next thing you know, actual science is being overwhelmed by all these newspaper articles being cited that were all propaganda. And next thing you know, hemp is illegal. And the idea is really weird because Americans didn't know that marijuana was hemp. Actually, they thought it was just a dangerous drug smoked by Mexicans and African Americans. But in concrete terms, hemp was banned in the United States. So for the last thing of Marijuana Tax Act, which was until 1969, hemp was basically not as grown in the United States. It was not a developed industry. The idea was you had to get this tax stamp to grow hemp in the United States. But if they're not giving any stamps out, which they weren't, basically you're an illegal grower of marijuana, and it kind of deviates the whole discussion away from hemp and towards marijuana. So in 1959, Timothy Leary, kind of the big spokesperson of the psychedelic revolution, he had this incident where he crossed the Mexican border into the United States, and they searched him and found marijuana in there. Now, through the 60s, that became marijuana became very popular, very used by the counterculture. So they arrested him, and then he just basically said, this is unconstitutional, because if I do get this stamp, this federal stamp, to abide by the Marijuana Tax Act, then I'm incriminating myself in Texas law. So that's against the Fifth Amendment. And the Supreme Court actually judged in his favor and declared the act unconstitutional. But only 1 year later, President Richard Nixon had his whole war on drugs idea he was sending around. And in 1970, the Controlled Substances Act was passed. And it was basically a new cannabis prohibition because it listed cannabis as a Schedule I substance, which means it has no medical benefits, it has high potential for abuse, and basically is not legal under any circumstances. So that was mainly to fight the culture aspect of marijuana use. He was very much against the hippies that were protesting the Vietnam War. And I got a couple funny quotes from Nixon. He organized this commission to evaluate whether marijuana was harmful or not. The commission concluded that it was not. But Nixon concluded with, I'm against legalizing marijuana. Even if the commission does recommend that it be legalized, I will not follow their recommendation. So it's kind of like, why are you asking scientists to do their job if you're not going to listen to their input? And then he was quoted as asking why all the Jews seems to be the ones that are for liberalizing regulations on marijuana. So he very much had a personal issue with this. And so since then, basically, under the Controlled Substances Act, which is still in place today, the DEA budget has basically skyrocketed. it's being used as an agency that can go, across borders. It can violate several international treaties. They go into Colombia and just spray everything with pesticides. Now that's not specific to marijuana, but that's specific to the DEA and what they do. And since then, we've also seen a number of big incarceration rates. As of right now, the United States is the #1 incarcerator in the world, with more prisoners per capita than China or Russia. So that's sort of significant. So it kind of brings me to who are the winners and losers in this cannabis prohibition. So I'm going to talk about the winners first because they're worth talking about. The first of all is the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industry can't really patent anything that's related to cannabis because it's the plant that's being used. And although they have patented pure THC, the pill, and it's called Marinol, that has not been proven to be as effective as all the different cannabinoids in cannabis at the same time. So it's not really viable for pharmaceutical companies to sell marijuana or invest in machines to test marijuana, etc. And also, recent studies show that pain relief with opiates, if you use cannabis in cooperation with opiates, you won't need as much opiate medication to actually get your pain relief. And that's significant because you can reduce overdoses. So many people overdose on Oxycontin, all sorts of other opiates, because they're trying to heal their pain. If we give a patient half marijuana, half opiates instead of 100% opiates, how is the pharmaceutical company going to benefit from that? So that's kind of getting into their business plan. And in comparison, they're selling us patented drugs that are much more harmful than marijuana itself, such as methamphetamine for ADHD. They still sell a bunch of very potent opiates, some of which are more potent than heroin itself. And many new drugs that are very rarely researched. I'm thinking, for example, of antidepressants, antipsychotics. As soon as they're ready and they've been somewhat tested, they're just out in the market because they need to make money while we still have control of the patent. Then, how does the pharmaceutical company step in and actually prove that they're supporting this prohibition? Well, I made some little research, and basically, President Obama's campaign was funded with at least $500,000 from Pfizer. Pfizer is one of big pharma's big companies, and that's a significant amount of money. $500,000 from Pfizer to have good reasons for electing Obama. And then the Partnership for Drug-Free America, which is a government-controlled sort of media outlet for anything that's drug propaganda related, is funded in part by Bristol Myers Squibb, another pharmaceutical company, Merck & Company, a pharmaceutical company, and Procter & Gamble, which is also a pharmaceutical company. So why do all these companies come to the same conclusion that it's worth their time and worth their money to support this kind of policy? Then you have tobacco, the tobacco industry. It's a $75 billion market per year in the United States. It's huge, and obviously, talk to anybody who's been a regular cigarette smoker. Cannabis is not only less harmful, as science shows, but it's also been proven effective for helping people quit smoking cigarettes, that is. So that's obviously against their market structure. So other people have funded Partnership for Drug-Free America. Philip Morris, which is infamous for making Marlboro cigarettes, and R.J. Reynolds, which makes Camel and Winston cigarettes. Then you also have the alcohol market, which is a $188 billion a year market. They've been very vocal actually about supporting marijuana prohibition. The unions of beer makers and liquor makers in California campaign against Prop 19 in California to legalize marijuana. They campaign against it. And also Philip Morris, which makes Miller beer on top of Marlboro, has funded Partnership for Drug-Free America. So has Anheuser-Busch, which makes Budweiser and Busch beer, and American Brands, which makes Jim Beam whiskey. So all these companies are sort of coming to the same conclusion that this is beneficial to their bottom line. Then among the other winners of cannabis prohibition, you have law enforcement, because as you can see from these charts, they're hiring more and more. It's a booming market. You have increasing need for police officers to arrest cannabis users and also take care of the violent crime that's still going on. Instead of just using those resources, those police resources, to fight violent crime, you're hiring almost 50% of your entire force to counter something that's totally victimless. So, of course, if we were to legalize marijuana, a lot of police officers would be out of job, or their entire department would be out of funding. And then the prison industrial complex, which is a phrase coined by Angela Davis in the 60s to describe sort of the booming private prison industry. This is something that's very recent in America, where even in the midst of this recession, you have a booming market for private prisons. And if you can't fill it all the way to the top, then you just got to find a way to make it happen. And if you are filling it up to the top, you just build another prison. Those companies make a lot of money building and maintaining prisons. It's a $68 billion a year market, and it costs $22,000 per inmate per year to pay for all the costs that come with incarceration. And as for cannabis only, more than 800,000 cannabis users are arrested every year. Cannabis offenders, sorry. And those people, are put in prison, they get a criminal record, etc., etc. But one winner of cannabis prohibition that we rarely talk about, and I think we should talk about more, is organized crime. By making this cannabis industry, because the demand has to be met. That's the principle of economics. There's a demand, there's going to be a supply. And the supply is blocked by prohibition from occurring in the legal system. So it occurs underground in the illegal system, where people fight themselves with guns and intimidation and kidnappings and whatnot to protect their market share. So gang violence is extremely funded by marijuana profits, because it's a very profitable industry on the black market. And everybody's been hearing about the drug cartels these couple of years, because since 2006, there's been like 40,000 to 50,000 deaths caused in the Mexican Prohibition War. And it's been noted that 60% of their profits come from cannabis sales alone. So that's a significant amount of money. If you ran a company and somebody was threatening to take away 50% of your profits, you would not be happy about that, and you'd do everything in your power to support that policy. It's dangerous. And on top of that, it's not only drug cartels, it's also terrorist groups. The FARC in Colombia have one of their major sources of income is the trade of cocaine. That's just not marijuana specific again, but it's the same concept. Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan governs the entire market for opium. I think it's 80% of Europe's demands in opiates are met from Afghanistan directly, not counting the pharmaceutical aspect. But they benefit hugely from this market of prohibition. So, and the last winner of cannabis prohibition is the defense contractors. Those are companies that sell paramilitary and military equipment to whoever's willing to buy it. And in this case, the United States government and a lot of paramilitary troops, sort of thing, like the SWAT, definitely get some of those products. And they make $316 billion a year from the U.S. government alone. So that's a huge market, and if you suddenly have peace in your neighborhood, you don't need to buy this defense equipment. Now on to the losers of cannabis prohibition. And I'm kind of going to go in any random order. Health is a huge factor that's being detrimental because of prohibition, because it's pushing us towards more dangerous drugs, both medically and recreationally. As I was saying earlier, people in the pharmaceutical industry want us to use OxyContin because that's something that's going to profit for them. And again, the beer and liquor companies want you to drink alcohol. Why would you want to have safer recreation or smoking marijuana when you could be drinking alcohol? That causes liver problems and causes cancer. That has been shown. Binge drinking causes brain damage, permanent brain damage, which marijuana does not. or at least has not been proven to. Another loser is the environment, because in the criminal industry, people have to hide to grow their marijuana. So a lot of cartels and gangs or growers in general will go to national parks. There are beautiful landscapes, beautiful nature everywhere, but they'll just find a good spot there, chop off everything they see and just throw weed there. And also on top of that, they're trying to keep it safe from intervention. So they guard it with guns and whatnot. If somebody's hiking in the wrong spot, you could get shot by a Mexican drug cartel in California. On another level also, hemp is extremely eco-friendly. I think hempcrete, which is the construction building block made out of hemp, may not have the same properties as concrete, as regular concrete, but it absorbs immense quantities of CO2 without having to do anything to it. It's going to be in your walls and you're not thinking about it, but all the CO2 is being absorbed by the plant matter. So for those that believe in the whole greenhouse effect, I believe that's a very relevant fact. Another loser is the kids. Children in our country, and actually all around the world, find it easier to get cannabis than any other drug, legal or illegal. Sorry. A study released a few years ago showed that high school seniors actually rank marijuana as easier to obtain than beer or pharmaceutical drugs. And I mean, that's an astonishing news, because I think the goal is to keep it away from kids, because if you believe the rhetoric. Then taxpayers are also huge losers. I don't know if I have the chart for the spending, but here is the arrest for drug abuse violation. And as you can see, it's reaching the 200, I believe it's 2 million. It's reaching the 2 million arrests. So multiply that by 22,000 per inmate, and you've got a really big chunk of money that people are wasting on prohibition and its enforcement. And that's all funded by people's taxes. Then the producer countries themselves, the United States government has been giving this rhetoric of, we want to help these Mexican people, we want to send all this money and all these troops to protect their country. Same with Colombia, same with Afghanistan. But in reality, those producer countries are suffering because by producing these products, which people will continue to do as long as there's money in there, they're putting their own people at risk. And as I was saying, the 50,000 deaths in Mexico are a pretty good example of that. Now back to America, the economy is also very much suffering from that. Whether we create a hemp industry or a marijuana industry, or both in the legal market, that would create thousands of jobs. Think about the economic boost that we're trying to take in this industry out of the black market and into the open. Creation of thousands of stores. And I think California's Prop 215, which legalized medical marijuana in California, is a good example of how there's an industry that can thrive and create jobs and create wealth in society just by pushing it out of the black market. Then science. Science is also suffering because the FDA and the DEA are currently blocking all sorts of cannabis-related research. They are overseeing the growth of cannabis, the legal field of cannabis in the University of Mississippi. But they're not giving it up to anybody, and all these companies, all these researchers that want to actually study the material, see if we can find a cure for cancer, see if we can isolate some cannabinoids, see what effects they have. No, that's not allowed because the FDA and the DEA basically block every step of the way in research. So, if Obama is really all into looking into the future and making all these scientific developments, maybe he should give a green light to studying the actual plant matter. And then the most important loser in all this is the offenders themselves and their families. Being arrested changes your life. Going to prison, you're never going to come out the same person. You go to prison and there's a lot of violence that goes on in there, there's a lot of sexual abuse that goes on in there. You're robbed of your dignity, you're given a criminal record, impossible to get a job. And the families as well, because the kids have to go to foster homes because they can't be taken care of by their parents anymore. And not only is it the person going to jail for a amount of time, it's the person going to jail and getting out and finding that their life is totally destroyed. Cannabis prohibition is basically the perfect example of a policy that benefits the 1% and harms just about everyone else. And it's kept in place to protect all those corporate interests I mentioned, and by feeding us this information from the government or other sources. So today, 50% support legalization in the United States. But as I was saying, I hope by sharing this information I can raise that number to 99%, and I hope all of us can help spread the word. Thank you.